So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Should you buy the iPhone 12 Pro Max now? So it's July 2021. We're only a few months away from the introduction of the 13 series. As we would expect, every year Apple does roll out a new premier device, but this was the recent premier device, and it's still the current top dog flagship you can buy from Apple. But if you're considering not waiting, this is going to be a video for you to help you decide if this is worth it. So we're going to go through each area of the phone, and I'm kind of going to give you my long-term experience, because this has been one of my favorite iPhones. Actually, I think this is my favorite iPhone ever, and I'll tell you why as we go throughout. But I want to begin by talking about the squared edges, the body, over the experience of 7 months. I think it's like 7 or 8 months already with this device. And I got to tell you, at first I wasn't really liking, how this felt in the hand comparatively to the XS Max and the 11 Pro Max. However, the squared edges have grown on me, and mostly because I just love the way they look. So they do have a very beautiful overall industrial looking design, and throughout my time using it, I've kind of grown accustomed. And if you do use certain cases, such as a silicone based case, it will be less likely to feel uncomfortable. So something like this, you prop it in there, it just becomes really comfortable. So this can easily be fixed by a case. If you want to know where I got this one, I will of course leave this case linked down below. But yeah, so overall, I got to say that these squared edges over time have grown on me. Cameras in the way of the Face ID, but they have grown on me. Now, in terms of the size, 6.7 inches. So yes, look at this thing, filling the whole screen up. What is this guy talking about? Listen, this phone is massive. So the first thing you're going to notice when you take this phone out of the box is just how large the footprint is. And over my time using it, I've actually come to love that. So anytime I go to a different phone, I'm actually using the XR right now for a challenge. It just feels small. I mean, look at the XR. The XR is not a tiny phone, but look at that next to the 12 Pro Max. And the same goes for the 12 Pro. Those are small by comparison as well. So if you're into these larger phones, you're absolutely going to love this thing right here. So yeah, the size just very big. Also the weight, it's got that heft. If you think that heft, you associate heft with premium, this one weighs a ton. It's over, not literally a ton, it's a figure of speech. It actually weighs right around 200 grams, 228 grams to be exact for you. So it's not super light, but it's not the heaviest thing in the world either. It's still a mobile device. Another thing I've really enjoyed is the ceramic shield. It just gives this phone a very premium feel. I'm not too worried about it getting banged up. I will say the stainless steel edges, man, do they get scratched super easy. I've talked about this in my previous iPhone 12 Pro Max video, but since my last ones where I was complaining about that, they've gotten more scratches. I even have a nice sharp one right there. You can see right there in the camera. Yeah, I got annoyed at first, but I just said, whatever. It's a phone. It's going to get scratched up. And, this silver one was the worst choice I've ever made in terms of, at least seeing scratches. I think it's one of the most beautiful colors. A lot of people think it's bland. They think the gold shines more. I'm a fan of silver, so I still think it looks really good from a distance. But up close, yes, you can see the scratches for sure for 12 Pro Max. However, I will say 12 Pro Max still, even though this scratches up, it's still a very durable material. So it's not dented or banged up, anything like that. It's just scratched, fine scratching around the edges. And it will happen on the different colors as well. So if you go with the Pacific Blue colored iPhone, it will also scratch. You just won't see it as much. So if you're worried about that, get the graphite or get the Pacific Blue color. Now, the display. So just like the 11 Pro Max, what I love about this display is the usable brightness. It's so darn bright that anything that you go to after this, if it doesn't hit this same range of brightness, it's gonna seem less bright. The only phone that I think can come close to this is the S21 Ultra from the Android side. It doesn't have as much usable brightness when you are tweaking the setting, but it does get brighter outdoors than the 12 Pro Max, and it's still a very bright phone. But other than that, even the other iPhones in the lineup besides the 12 Pro, I'm talking about the ones that are not Pro series, they just don't get this bright. And having such a large panel that gets this bright, so if you're just looking for that range of brightness, you can get it here. And not only that, being that's OLED, but it's also very well tuned to be super accurate on here. You don't get this like over vibrant, but you don't get this under vibrant color either. They nailed it, I think, on the color accuracy. But if you're into that seriously vibrant display, this one's not it, but it's still very enjoyable, and the contrast ratios are still very good, for a smartphone. So it's hard to go back. Once you've seen OLED in the flesh, you've seen it compared to LCD. To me, it's just hard to go back. It just looks so darn good. The iPhone 12 Pro Max with its 458 density, it does have an insane amount of brightness, 800 nits, 1200 outdoors, wide color gamuts. It does have True Tone, no 3D touch, which kind of blows because it used to be much faster. But still, we got, our usual stuff that we get here from Apple. Very nice. And then the dark mode, of course, works like a dream, as you would expect. I wish that Safari would go in dark mode. I don't know why, but anytime I go into Safari, I was looking up something about the Surface Duo, doesn't support mobile payments. I wish this thing was, dark mode. When I go to dark mode, it's still bright. So I hope Apple can bring dark mode to Safari someday. That would be great. But other than that, display is awesome on here. No 60 hertz though. You might be saying, I hope he doesn't not mention 60 hertz, but the lack of 60 hertz on here doesn't really bother me as much as I thought. The more you use this phone, you realize it's smooth as butter even without 90 hertz, without 120 hertz. Now the software, I actually am still running iOS 14. I'm not going to put 15 on my main everyday iPhone. I'm not putting 15 on this right now because I know it's going to run okay, but I just don't want to deal with the bugs on my main phone. So I'm running the latest 14.6 right here. And let me tell you, I love the widgets. It's a nice experience. You have App Library. App Library I didn't like at first, but I'm starting to like how it keeps everything organized if you can't find something on the home screens. And I really enjoy this, the ability to kind of remove things off the home screen. For example, I got some personal stuff I'm not trying to put on the screen right now in that widget. And so I didn't want to show it on this video. So I went ahead and hided that page. So that's a good way to talk about that right there. The ability to move these pages around is also awesome. You kind of go through them like this as well very quickly. But I still think, man, for how large this phone is, why can't we do a split screen on here? Why can't we do a landscape? It just makes no sense. Look at this monster. Like, we should be able to do that, shouldn't we, for the 12 Pro Max? Now, performance, man, the performance here, if you're to buy this now, I'm telling you, I'm using the A12 CPU and the iPhone XR right now on this challenge, and I don't even notice that I'm using an A12. The A12 is still fast. Like, imagine this being 2 times faster. It's incredibly quick. You're never really gonna actually think about performance ever on this phone. I don't care what you're running. You could be running games, you could be running Safari, you could be running messages, swapping between things. I think the phone is faster than your brain can probably calculate. It can do things much faster than you can probably think of doing them. That's how quick the A series silicon is on these devices. I do think a lot about these cameras right here, because having these cameras and the depth sensor and the great stabilization, it's like you got a movie studio right here in your pocket. Look at this. You got ultra wide. You can go 12x right there. And not only that, you can do RAW. I mean, these phones are getting so good that they're making cameras basically obsolete unless you're using them like me for YouTube videos and something a little more serious than just taking photos out and about. You really don't need them anymore. You have a portrait mode right here. You can see contour light, panoramic. If we go over here in the video, you have this HDR video and 4K 60. You can do it at 4K 30. Go into the front, matches up beautifully. You have 4K 60 on the front as well. The photos on the front match really good with the rear. I mean, I'm not saying it's exactly as good as the rear, but it's getting up there. The software algorithm, when you do take a picture, does know what to do to tweak it to make it look pretty good. However, I will say that these photos do come out a little bit more in a sense that they come out more accurate. So if you're looking for that vibrant punch, you're going to have to edit that in yourself. The results come out a little bit more realistic. So I think if you're looking for results that are a little bit more vibrant, social media share ready, you might like Samsung phones a little bit more. I'm not saying the video on Instagram isn't better though. The video on Instagram is better for the iPhone. What I'm saying is the pictures right out of the camera itself do require a little editing if you want a lot more saturation in them. But other than that, everything in here is strong. But I'm not just going to talk about it. Here's some more samples. Check them out. iPhone 12 Pro Max, this beautiful triple camera system with that TOF 3D LiDAR sensor right there. Let's check them out. The audio on the 12 Pro Max is very loud. Like it's loud, but not only that most phones are loud these days, but it's clear. Like you just get this sense of clarity.
Right around $599, so you can get this device for cheaper than,
you know, like when you buy those sound bars or like a speaker and you buy a cheap one, it sucks. You upgrade, you get one that's really good. Yeah, this one has that feel. Like some other smartphones are just as loud, but they don't sound anywhere near as clear. It overall adds to the sense of premium. So the sound quality is very strong. Of course, Bluetooth 5.0 on here. So when you are connecting AirPods, Bluetooth headsets, it's snappy as ever. And the battery life. This is the only iPhone 12 in the iPhone 12 lineup that was able to get me a full day with ease and stretch into the second day. The iPhone 12 Pro, if you're using it heavy, may let you down. The iPhone 12, if you're using heavy with the 5G, may let you down. The 12 mini, forget about it. But the iPhone 12 Pro Max, hello battery life. This is where you gotta go if you want the best battery life. And you know what's crazy? They're doing this on a 3687 milliamp hour battery. That's not even a large battery. Of course, you do have 20 watt fast charging through that lightning port. I want to see USB-C on iPhone, but it's still not here. So you're going to stick with lightning port for now. 50% in about 30 minutes. So that's pretty darn quick if you ask me. It's not anywhere near a OnePlus device, not anywhere near, you know, some other devices with this 50 watt fast charging stuff, but it's okay. You know, it's definitely more premium than a cheaper device. So I can't knock them too much, although I think that is an area they could improve. And the phone call quality, the 5G has improved so much this year that I really just enjoy the heck out of this phone, because the iPhone 11 Pro Max wasn't my favorite there. But man, do you see how big this phone is? Look at it swallowing my hand. My hand's pretty big, but look how that thing fits in there. That is a monster. Face ID though, you know, Face ID doesn't really seem any different since the iPhone 10. It doesn't really feel like it got any quicker. I will say it seems to respond a little bit better if the phone's kind of dipped on an angle than some other phones. That it definitely has improved on, but speed wise, it doesn't really feel any different. These buttons on the side too are very nice. They're nice and large, so you do have an easy way to feel it out. And then over here we have the classic silent switch and very tactile volume markers as well. SIM card tray right there. And I'm going to show you at the bottom again as well. You can see some more smudging, some more scratching, especially around there where you put the charging port in, you're falling asleep at night, that gets all scuffed up as well. So is there anything that you didn't like, Nick, about the iPhone 12 Pro Max? And let me tell you what I don't like. I still don't like looking at that. I just don't care. There's too many phones on the market that don't have that. So I don't like looking at that. You hear those boys in the comments already.
Still talking about the notch? It's 2021, bro. Stop being so petty. How do you even have a YouTube channel?
Listen, when you're paying $1,000 for this phone, you're paying $1,000 for a Samsung S21 Ultra. You're seeing a little tiny hole. You come over here and then you see this big old huge notch over here. I don't care. You know, this company sells an insane amount of phones. We can see some more innovation on the screen tech, and still, you could still retain this. Let's find a way to get it in a thinner area just to make the phone look better. It's conservative, but it's just getting old at this point. I'm ready to see a full screen iPhone. It's my dreams. Other than that, I don't think there's much I don't like about this phone. I mean, for what it is, it's really that good. I would like to see more zoom on the camera. I really wish Apple would bring like 30x, maybe 50x zoom on these cameras. It really would step it up a ton. It really does need that. Maybe some 8K recording just for fun. And I think they can improve like the camera modes. Like they could put an actual dedicated pro camera mode in here. And of course, split screen. 6.7-inch monster of a device. Give me split screen. But to answer your question, should you buy it now in 2021? I think it's totally worth it. If you ask me now, should I buy it right now? You know, we got the iPhone 13 Pro Max coming very soon. If you're the type of person who is looking into the latest phones and you're already into the tech game, you know how it goes, and you just know you're going to be upset in a couple of months, don't get it. It's just not a good decision when we got a couple of months here and there's going to be a new one. But if you're the type of person who doesn't care, you're more like, my phone is getting weak, I want a phone now, I'm not waiting 3 months and then you have to deal with the pre-order anxiety, then this will be a perfect option right now. They're in plenty stock, plenty of them in supply, and any color you want. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth it right now for those people. Anyway, if you have any more questions about the 12 Pro Max, go ahead and drop them down below. We have a vibrant community of people who will help you out. Many iPhone 12 Pro Max users that watch this channel as well, so they should help you out as well. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. I will catch you all in the very next episode. Be sure to be well and peace.